Good afternoon from London. It's a bright spring afternoon here. Spring is slowly coming. And hello to all dear comrades, friends and supporters from Dr. Dermot Hudson, the chairman of the British Group for the Study of the Juche idea, chairman of the Korean Friendship Association of the UK and official delegate of the KFA for the UK, president of the Association for the Study of Sangam Politics of the UK, and of course the owner of this very channel, Sangam 007, the voice of Sangam and Juche in the UK. And today I'm going to sort of make a reply or sort of do a review or critique of a video about the DPRK, which was posted on a very popular leftist US YouTube channel. You know, the channel I consider to be rather trendy, but it does have a big number of subscribers, and the video itself was a reply to another video which talked about making the DPRK democratic in inverted commas, and I mean quite rightly the maker of the video that critiques this view, Hakim, exposes this as basically regime change in the DPRK and an attempt to seize the trillions of dollars worth of resources in the DPRK, and this is true. People calling for the DPRK to be democratic are calling for regime change, for the overthrow of the socialist system in the DPRK, and for the colonisation of the northern part of Korea by US and world imperialism, and subjecting the people of the DPRK to the horrendous exploitation by US and other monopoly capital. And indeed it would be like what happens in the former socialist countries, like the USSR, like the former GDR, where people experienced mass unemployment, poverty, a decline in life expectancy. Yes, all these things happened. The mainstream media don't like to tell you that, but these things happened. However, there was a discussion in the KFA UK internal Telegram discussion group about the video, and a couple of things got flagged up. I mean, it was felt that some leftist and communist efforts at defending the DPRK do not help, and I think there's one or two problems with this particular video and issues that we would diverge on. In general, we felt that the DPRK's achievements were somewhat underplayed and in the video, and it's sort of general view expressed in the video of portraying the DPRK as simply a victim of sanctions. Now, of course, it is true that massive sanctions have been imposed on People's Korea, really for no reason other than the fact it is a socialist country and it defends independence. Because other countries have nuclear weapons but have not been sanctioned. This is a fact. Yeah, I mean, the sanctions, yes, are draconian and extreme. But the DPRK has not folded its arms and done nothing about them. It has emphasised self-reliance and self-development. DPRK is based on the independent national economy. It's based on self-reliance and, of course, on the Juche idea. And I noticed that the video by Hakim, unless I missed it, actually does not mention the Juche idea. And, of course, without referring to the Juche idea, you cannot understand the DPRK or its position in the world or its achievements. That is a fact. But Hakim, does refer to, and I quote, malnutrition and starvation in the DPRK. Well, but acknowledges that the situation in the DPRK is now much is better than in the 90s. To answer that point, firstly, there is a myth of famine in the DPRK in the 1990s. That is not to deny that this was an extremely difficult period for the people of the DPRK, in which they had to face severe challenges and indescribable difficulties, due to a number of factors, primarily several consecutive years of massive natural disasters that damaged crops, in fact obliterated crops, damaged farmlands, damaged the infrastructure, and at the same time you had the sanctions and blockade of the imperialists, and some countries that had previously traded on equal terms with the DPRK demanded the settlement of trade accounts in dollars, which of course was a form of double blockade. However, when I visited the DPRK in June 1996, we did not see famine or starvation in the DPRK, and I've written the short book, The Famine That Never Was, on this subject, and it's also, my visit is recounted in the free downloadable book Travels in the Land of Juche Korea. And as to the present situation, Hakim's video seemed to imply that there was starvation and malnutrition in the DPRK, and again I would stress, I've visited the DPRK a total of 18 times, including a number of visits in recent years in 2017, 2018, 2019. Never seen anyone starving, never seen anyone begging for food. And it is a fact that in the DPRK, people are supplied with basic foods at very low cost or free of charge. And recently, the DPRK took the measure to supply free of charge free dairy products to preschool children. And indeed, in the period of the 1990s, the preschool children were being supplied with soya milk by the state, again free of charge. In fact, I think it is wrong to talk about starvation in people's Korea. And it's another general point I noticed about the video was there seemed to be very little reference to actual DPRK sources. Now, I'm not suggesting that we ignore capitalist sources completely and that we disregard them. Sometimes you can find useful nuggets of information in them. However, the approach of totally disregarding any DPRK source is really contributing to the what we call the delegitimization of the DPRK, the strategy to deny the DPRK any kind of legitimacy. And sort of lastly, I think a very important point, because the video is about the whole issue of democracy in the DPRK, and Hakim rightly points out that the DPRK has proletarian democracy that is in fact very democratic, but appears to go back on himself by at the end of the video equating the DPRK with the US and capitalist countries, and that again is quite wrong. The DPRK is in fact far more democratic than any capitalist country. And just on a few superficial points, firstly, the DPRK does not like the UK have an unelected second chamber. Yes, in Britain we have the House of Lords, which is not elected. Yet, people think that Britain is one of the best democracies in the world, or the best democracy in the world, when it has this unelected second chamber. The US has a very strange electoral college system, which I think non-Americans find very hard to understand, and certainly is open to manipulation. And I think a very important point is that in the DPRK the entire electorate participates in elections. In the last DPRK general election, 99.9% of electors participated. In the USA, the winning candidate, Biden, got 81 million votes out of a total of 239 million people eligible to vote. And of course, in the USA, many people are actually excluded from voting. This means that only 27% of electors voted for Biden, a minority basically. This means that the US fails the definition of democracy. And I think should also add, that in the UK, they're going to adopt a system of voter ID, which could actually disenfranchise many poorer voters. And fundamental point here in the so-called democracies, the bourgeois democracies of the imperialist countries, if you don't actually vote for the winning party, you become effectively disenfranchised and marginalised, because it is winner takes all. The DPRK does indeed have a different system to bourgeois democracy. In the West, the system, the Western system is better described as a plutocracy rather than a democracy. In the DPRK, it's people's democracy, socialist democracy, and proletarian democracy. In Western countries, wealth is concentrated in the hands of a minority, about 1% of the population, and that 1% obviously use their economic power to control the political process. In the DPRK, candidates are chosen by mass meetings of electors first, rather than a small clique of people putting forward a candidate. No one who does not have the support of the people can be put forward as a candidate. It's quite simple as that. On election day, voters approve the candidates. The mainstream media like to assert there's no choice in the DPRK elections, but what real choice is there in many capitalist countries where often all the parties support capitalism? Really, elections in capitalist countries are about deciding who is going to fiddle their expenses and vote themselves a pay rise and more expenses. In People's Korea, ordinary workers, including street cleaners, are elected to the Supreme People's Assembly, and I'm sure you've all seen the documentary about the woman street cleaner in the DPRK who was elected as a deputy to the Supreme People's Assembly, and I also saw or read an article about a woman trolley bus driver who was elected to a local People's Assembly. In the UK, there's only one or two out of the 600 members of the Parliament who are of working class origin. That is less than 0.5%. In capitalist countries, not only are workers not represented in Parliament, but the very poorest strata, like the unemployed, pensioners and homeless, are not represented in Parliament. In People's Korea, there is not only the Supreme People's Assembly, but also the provincial, city and district People's Assemblies and People's Committee. In each block of flats is run by People's Neighbourhood Unit. Thanks to the Juche idea, the DPRK has a most advanced, superior, people-centred democracy. It is actually the most democratic country in the world, second to none. And just one or two other points where I would differ with Hakim. He talks about Confucianism in the DPRK, but the DPRK has always campaigned against and rejected Confucianism. If you read President Kim Il-sung's works, you will see a condemnation of Confucianism. And again, Hakim seemed to imply there is corruption in the DPRK. Well, in the DPRK, it's a socialist country, so there's no private businesses which can generate corruption. There are no sources of corruption, and in recent years there has been a very strong campaign against the abuse of power by officials and against bureaucracy, and as also against anti-socialist and non-socialist behaviour. So, I will conclude there, and I would urge you, if you don't already subscribe to this channel, Sungam 007, and also our affiliated channel, Korean Friendship Association of the UK, please do so. Really, this channel needs to double and treble its number of subscribers. In fact, a tenfold increase would be good. And please continually share content from the channel. Now, unlike some people, don't ask people for money, but you can donate to KFA UK, and also we have a publishing program. We have a author spot on lulu.com, on which there are books written by myself, but also collectively written works and works by other members of our organisation. Please buy these books. Not only helps financially, but it's a great way for you to find facts and information about the reality of people's career, and to learn about the Juche idea and Sungam idea. And what is also very important is for people to support our activities. We've got an online meeting on the 10th of April. Please check out our different communication channels like Telegram and Twitter for details of the meeting. We've also got a meeting, a real life meeting, on the 15th of April. So please look out for it. Anyway, have a great day, and see you all again soon. Goodbye.